Hello everybody to another video of DaVinci Resolve. Today we'll have a closer look at the node graph in the color page. Nodes can be quite intimidating at first, especially if you're more used to software that uses layers, but it shouldn't be, because it's quite easy and very flexible what you can do with them. You just have to imagine that this green dot is where the image, the signal comes from, and this green dot here on the right is where the image goes out. Everything here in the middle is where you do your manipulation of the image. Those are done with corrector nodes. You can have as many tools applied to a corrector node as you would like, but it does make sense to split up your operations in different corrector nodes. To add a corrector, just right-click and go to Add Node Corrector, or just press Alt-S. Now here's an example why it's important to work with more than one node. Let's just say in the first node I'll add some contrast, making it a bit brighter, and maybe give it a bit more saturations. If I were to go and add a window to this node, just because I wanted to brighten this part up, it would take the whole grade and just apply it in this window. So that's where it makes sense then just go in the second node and just add my window there and brighten it a bit up. All right, let's go into the next node and just take the whole saturation out. And then I go in my last node and let's give it a funky color. What do you think would happen if I would change the order and take the black and white node and make it at the end? So you can extract it with the E key. So you think it will all turn black? Let's try and find out. Ta-da! You were right. So the order does matter. All right, let's try something else. Let's delete these three nodes and let's add two new nodes. Go into the last one and go into the qualifier, 3D qualifier, and I'll just select this green color of the tractor and let's change the hue to, let's say, blue. Now, the nodes before this node are feeding the node with the qualifier. So if I change here the color, let's say I just change the hue, see how here the key changes. It disappears. That's because the colors we changed no longer exist. Now this would be a good example to show why a parallel node might make sense. To add a parallel node, just right-click on the node and go to Add Parallel Node. Now you see there are now two nodes in parallel. If I go and make this one all purple, it doesn't change the qualifier key that I have on this one, because it takes its information from the previous corrector node and is not affected by this corrector node. Now there's a different yet very similar node to the parallel node called layer node. You could add that one again with the right click or with the upper menu button, but we'll do something different and we'll go into the parallel node and we merge it into layer node. Now the way this node works is similar to software that uses layers, just that the lower layer here is actually the upper layer. And this layer, because it's up, hides the one below. So if we change the order, I'll extract this one, extract that one, and make this one the lower layer and this one the upper layer, you will see that now the blue is over the orange. Parallel nodes do every manipulation in parallel, while layer mixers put manipulations on top of each other. All right, let's check out two more nodes. Okay, let's delete these. Now select Add Outside Node. Now with this node, we can manipulate everything that is outside of the mask that we created in the previous node. You see here, that line shows that the mask of this one drives this node, but everything is inverted. So now we can change every other color except for the one that we selected in the previous node. And just to make everything complete, there is one more node, and that is the Splitter Combiner node. Now this splits the image in its 3 RGB channels. This one might be useful because one channel might have more noise, to just put a denoiser in one of the channels. So I hope this gives you a little overview of the node graph and that you see the power and possibilities that node graphs can give.